Do you want to fight with cavalry and yet have no idea what you're doing? This video is going to explain everything you need to know about fighting with cavalry in Lords Mobile. The objective of this video is to teach you, if you do want to fight with cavalry, how do you do it? Now, before I start, there's one obvious thing I need to say, because most of you are going to be too stupid to understand. You only want to fight with one troop at a time, unless you're holding a wonder and you want to switch in between troops. Other than that, and even then, you're always going to use one troop. You don't want to mix up troops. You want to always use either cavalry, either range, either infantry. So if you have discovered that, or you now listening and discovered that, you're going to want to pick one troop type to be your primary. And if it's going to be cavalry, this point of this video is to explain everything you possibly need to know in order to fight extremely effectively with cavalry. This is going to be a part 1 and 3. I'm going to do range and infantry as well, but we're going to start off this video with cavalry. The first place to start would definitely be the gear. I'm going to tell you the ideal gear. In fact, actually, the alt is an alt account, but the cavalry gear is quite developed already. The gear, this is the best gear to use. The only thing that, of course, is no longer updated is the the lunar boomerang is now a better offhand. So it has a cavalry attack of 42. That's a lot better. And again, of course, this alt account has not yet even started developing it. But other than that, if we look at this gear over here, this is your best. This is your best cavalry gear. Now, for most players, they're probably not going to be able to do the horn cudgel, and you're going to want to switch to the Frostwind Greatsword. And the reason being, this is a Gargantua. That's 4 Gargantua gear sets. That's a lot of eyeballs you need to collect. Having a 5th one, it's a little bit of a strain. A lot of people are just not able to hack it, and so these 3 have to be Gargantua. There's nothing really better than the Fear Drum. And so this is a clever choice. It's definitely not as powerful as the Horn Cudgel. At the same time, until you're able to make the Horn Cudgel to yellow or mythic, you may as well just use the Greatsword. This one is kind of the best. The Ganchen Belt is kind of the best. There are alternatives, but the only other alternative I'd recommend is the Storm Tasset. The only problem is it's kind of hard to upgrade. Getting those round pearl situations, whatever they're called, glistening pearls, they're really tricky. So you're probably going to want to just keep with the Gargantuan, because Gargantua, it's a lot easier, even though there's a lot of stuff to do over here. The Bumble Helm is better than the Beast Helm, in my opinion, so I would stick with the Bumble Helm, especially since you get the range out of it as well. And the Firewall Plate is just an awesome... It's just awesome all around, so I would strongly recommend staying with that. The Dragon Fist is awesome. The Lunar Boomerang, the latest updated one, it is going to be very, very tough to get, so the Dragon's Fist might be the way to go. That's in regards to the actual gear. If you want to learn more about the gear, I have an article on marksandreview.com. You'll be able to see the best gear and the alternatives for every single option, every single type of scenario: infantry, range, defensive, etc., etc. Take a look at that article. Probably save that link, because I know a lot of people continuously check that web page because it's very popular. Moving along, the next thing you're going to need to know for fighting with cavalry is going to be the talents. You're going to want to make sure you have your cavalry maxed. So over here right now I have, my resource troop gathering one. Infantry and cavalry is a better combination, because if you have cavalry ready, they're going to send ranged to counter the cavalry, which means you need to be ready for your infantry, which means your infantry should also be maxed. Of course, focus on the offense and don't focus on the defense. That's pretty much all that needs to be said about the talents. It's rather straightforward. If you need to know more about talents, go to our website. Next thing on the list is going to be the correct heroes. You want to send the right heroes. The correct heroes, again, I'm just going to do free to play. I'm not going to focus on pay to play. Of course, these are two P2P heroes. Rose Knight is a cavalry hero. Cavalry max HP, that's 50%. That's not, yeah, it's neither here nor there, but the important part is going to be the 20% attack boost. But as a cavalry hero, the next one is going to be the Night Raven, cavalry attack, cavalry defense. This is a great hero. 30%. Defense is not neither here nor there, but it's that attack that really going to be paying attention to. We'll get back to the Bombin Goblin in the second. Child of Light, cavalry attack, cavalry HP. This is a fantastic hero. If you're cavalry, you're going to want to max him or her. I'm not even sure what it is. Then the next one you're going to want to focus on is Death Knight. Unfortunately, there aren't many free-to-play cavalry heroes, and so you're kind of stuck with just a max HP and a cavalry defense. That's kind of dreadful, but that's the situation. Because the last one is going to be Sage of Storms, which of course is just a defense, so that's complete garbage. Don't send out a troop. Now, the thing is, we only have 4 so far, but you're going to want to have 1 range hero. This is an army attack, which means they're still going to give a boost to your cavalry, and that way you're able to get, if you send a few troops, ranged troops, you'll be able to get him into the battle as well, which is kind of the point. If you don't understand what I'm saying, the point of this video is not to go at great length, so check out my battle techniques article. I'll put a link in the description below. Take a look at it, read it. If you don't know how to read, you probably have more problems than fighting on Lord's Mobile. Okay, the next thing is the familiar upgrades. I'm not going to go through all the familiars that give the different boosts. The point is that, there's, for example, right over here, skills, cavalry attack, there we go. So cavalry attack 10%. There's a whole bunch of boosts you could get for your cavalry throughout the different familiars. What I'm more interested, of course, is going to be the war familiars. Let's focus on the important ones first. When I say important, I mean not the very hard ones or not the garbage ones. The Goblin is going to be critical. This one, increase cavalry attack by 100% when 10% of your cavalry troops have fallen, and it stacks, which means every 10% that you lose, you get another 100% boost. This is critical if you're fighting with cavalry. Make sure every single time you send out your troops, this Goblin is being sent with as well. The next one is going to be Pyris. This as well is going to be very important if you're sending a cavalry boost. At the start of 60% increase to hero skills. Only lasts 10 seconds, but that's kind of powerful. Don't underestimate the Pyris. The next one's going to be the Tempestite. I don't have a max, it's only level 9 so far, but stuns one of the enemy heroes for 8%, but 8 seconds for 10%. It's great. And again, of course, it depends on how many slots you have. Then there's the Yeti, which is going to give you a 15% boost. Okay, I don't need to find it there. Oh, there we go. At the start of the battle, 15% attack boost. Again, not the greatest situation, but 15% is a cavalry attack. Now, here's the thing. The rest of them, the HP, war, army talents, the defense army talents, the ones that reduce HP of the enemy or defense of the enemy are garbage. Don't bother wasting your stuff on it. Don't upgrade them. They're just a complete waste of time. Stop embarrassing yourself by using them. The one other one, I guess, if you have no choice and you're really a beginner and you're just at the beginning of it all, is Strix. Again, this is kind of really, really last case scenario, but here we go. Increase cavalry max HP by 80% for 10 seconds. This is really, when 10% have you fallen, this is really not what you want to use, but if you have no choice, may as well use it. I guess the notable mentions that, for the serious players is going to be the Gryphon, with the increased army attack by 200% for 10 seconds after 10% have fallen. The Saberfang is going to protect your troops, which is really cool. The Mega Maggot, wherever it is, so that's probably at the bottom. Alright, let's find it. Okay, can't seem to find. There we go. Mega Maggot. Stuns all enemy heroes for 5 seconds and 15 have fallen. Again, these are all great heroes, but you know, you got to be a little bit realistic. Frostwing, same situation, 150% damage, 4 seconds, 5 times when 8% have fallen. That's a serious hero. And of course, the Gargantua is going to give you 600 damage to one, the largest enemy troop, when 4% have fallen. The last 5 um, army army talent familiars that I mentioned, they're really rather advanced. So, you know, if you kind of have the money to drop, or you're that good at Lord's Mobile, then add them to your battle. But if not, the ones you're going to want to focus is Goblin, Pyris, Tempestite, Yeti, and Strix if you have 5 slots open. And if you don't, then of course the Goblin's going to be your priority, and probably the Pyris and the Tempestite, or depending on the scenario, maybe the Pyris and the Yeti, or the Tempestite and the Yeti. You're going to have to kind of work it out based on where you're holding. The next thing, of course, is going to be to make your cavalry really hurt is going to be research. Along the side of here, cavalry offense, cavalry defense, cavalry health, cavalry infantry counter booster. All of these are going to help, and in fact, the upgrade military, well, that's going to just help you upgrade them for cheaper, which is not really a topic for now, but, you know. Then there's army leadership, military command. In fact, all of these, aside from familiar, all have cavalry attack boosts. So, you know, you go and hit the cavalry defense, cavalry health, cavalry offense. They're all kind of important. So just get as, if you're focusing on cavalry, hitting with cavalry, make sure, at least, look at it here, at least the cavalry side, make sure you have it as maxed as possible. As you can see, this account actually is a cavalry focused account. The next thing is going to be max troop size. This is just a detail, but it's kind of important to know. If you want to attack with cavalry, make sure you're hitting hard. Make sure you're using a cavalry army max. And that's pretty much it. There are so many more techniques on what you need to know in order to attack in general. But that's not that's not what's up for discussion right now. What's really up for discussion is how do you make your cavalry hurt as much as possible. That's pretty much it. Of course, there's one other thing which, of course, needs to be mentioned, and that's the cavalry wedge and the cavalry phalanx. You want to make sure if you're attacking with cavalry, you're using the phalanx correctly. Not always are you going to want to use the cavalry phalanx or the cavalry wedge. That's a topic for another time. But make sure that the army lineup is correct, whatever your intention is going to be. Usually you're going to want to hit with the cavalry first, because your boost is on that, and you're going to want to hit hard. And of course the counters, you want to make sure that you're always countering correctly when you're using cavalry. Cavalry is not to be attacked for range, and even cavalry, you want to make sure that when you're hitting cavalry, you're hitting it against infantry. And of course use the boosts, and if you want to get the heroes, again, they're to play, but to make sure that your cavalry is hitting your infantry as tough and as strong as possible. Make sure that, you know, the cavalry infantry boost is working correctly. That this boost will not work if you attack the wrong. If you're attacking range, it's not going to help you. That's pretty much it. If you want to know more, feel free to click the links below, and there's a lot more resources on my website. Follow me on Twitter. I do giveaways, or don't follow me.